So let's take a look at Malware Bazaar. So you probably know from the name that this is about malware. So actually it's a collection of malware database or malware databases. People can upload their own malware. If they use Twitter for that, then they can upload malware and that will be added to the database. You can also, so here you could upload samples. There's also the browse tab, which has this captcha, and it will allow you to browse the database. So it takes a moment to load, and then you can browse the malware database. In this case, there is 590,000 examples of malware in this database, which is growing because it's a website where people can submit malware. So at the moment it's like 500,000, and it will increase over time. And you'll see it's Windows executables. In this case, an image that seems to be stored as a zip file. Executable files again, Windows executable. P here. So different kind of malware of different types. So it's not just Windows programs, right? Malware can be any kind. It can be malicious zip files. It can be executables. Also document files, like here there's an Excel file that's actually and a Word document that's a malicious Word document. And so you can browse this page manually, or if you're interested in a particular one, you could click on it, and it takes a moment to load, and then it says like the file name here, which seems to be a malicious Word document. And so it shows there the vendor threat intelligence. So it's showing, for example, these companies or websites showed that this file was suspicious. Now it might be that it shows that it's a virus, depending on which vendor or which type of file it is. You can also search in here. So you can search by tag or by hash. So what is a hash? A hash is a unique fingerprint for your file. So you'll see all of these actually hashes, so unique fingerprints for those files. So every file has a unique fingerprint, and this is the fingerprint of the type SSH256. And so you'll see the fingerprints here. There's also hashes is simply a fingerprint. You'll see there's different fingerprints, 256, and other fingerprints. So we're interested in the top one because that one is used for search. Now, if you want any file on your computer, you can calculate the fingerprints. You can do that on Windows and on Linux as well. So a fingerprint can be calculated for any file. For example, on this Linux computer, there is a file, PDF file. And on Linux, if you want the fingerprint, you can type SSH256 sum, followed by the file name. And that calculates the unique fingerprint for that file name. Now, every file has a unique fingerprint, and the fingerprint is always of the same length. So let's try it with another file. So another file, which in this case is an ISO file, so a CD-ROM file, which is a lot larger than this PDF. But you'll see, regardless of the size of the file, the fingerprint length, so the number of characters of the fingerprint is always the same. So the length of the fingerprint is always the same, regardless of the file size. So for larger files, it of course takes more time to calculate the fingerprint. And you'll see the fingerprint here. So it's the same length, even though this file is a lot larger than a simple PDF file. And so you can calculate fingerprints on Linux, but you can also do it on Windows. So on Windows, you can open PowerShell. And with PowerShell, you would type this command, of course, with your own file name, and that would calculate the hash on a Windows computer. So on a Windows computer, what you want to do is open PowerShell, then go to the directory that contains the file. So in this case, on the desktop, there is a file. And then we can type the command. So search util -hash file, the name of the file, and then the actual hashing algorithm, so SSH256, and you'll see that calculated the hash on a Windows computer. Now, regardless of whether you use Windows, Linux, Mac, or whichever system to calculate the hash value is always the same for a specific file. So it's a unique fingerprint regardless of the system that is being used. So you can copy and paste the unique fingerprint. If you want to know if the file is malicious, at least known in the database, what you can do is browse the database and then paste your hash there. So just paste your hash and click search. If the file is malicious, it's possible that it will then show up in this malware database. So you can search in this database by typing SSH256, which is the fingerprint algorithm. Then type the hash or paste the hash and click search. And if it is malicious, it will show up here, or will probably show up here. So in this case, there's a malicious executable. If you click on it, you can see this is a malicious program detected by 3 companies. You'll see filescan.io and several others indicated this file to be malicious. There's also some general statistics on this site. So if you go to statistics, and it takes a moment to load, you can see some general information about how much malware is being shared. So there's a lot of malware being shared every day, like somewhere between 200 to 400 on average. Malware samples are being shared every day, so there's a lot of malware on the internet. You'll see that the type of the file, so this executables or other types. So which kind of malware it is. So you'll see there's different malware families which is being spread on the internet. Some popular malware samples. If you scroll down, you'll see this virus scanner detected some. So this is a free virus scanner that detected some of the malware. And you can find like general statistics on virus scanners as well. And so yeah, you have some general statistics on this page as well. But in general, what you could use this for is if you have any file, to check if that file is known to be malicious by checking its hash. So getting the fingerprint on a Windows computer or Linux computer for that file, pasting it in, using SSH256, and then paste the fingerprints and to see if that file is malicious or not.